With the upcoming release of F1 24, there is one thing I have failed to see in any of the recent videos from F1 gaming content creators, and that is the pricing. Now I get it, bills need to be paid, but for the second year in a row, the standard version of the game will be £60 English, and for the Premium Champions Edition, it will be £80. Now you may instantly be asking, what's so wrong with that? Games like Elden Ring cost £60 on release too. Well, the difference is, while that isn't a sports game, it is a game that was in development for years and is rich in content and quality. F1 games are annual releases whereby there's not a lot of changes from year to year. From watching the deep dive videos and trailers, it seems that not an awful lot has changed from the previous version, F1 23. Most will be paying £60 to £80 for some updated track scans and some improved driving mechanics. Basically, F1 24 just seems to be a glorified update. For me, this pricing structure for an annually released game is disgusting, but unfortunately it's pretty much par for the course for EA, who continually charge customers these prices on an annual basis with their sports games such as the formerly known FIFA and Madden. Just ask fans of those titles what has dramatically changed from year to year. The answer will be very little. You could also throw Ubisoft in there too with the disgusting announcement of Star Wars Outlaws pricing structure recently. Just check that one out. Now EA, out of the kindness of their hearts, are offering a 15% discount if you own either F1 21, F1 22 or F1 23, which is pretty rare for them. This equates to around £8 off the standard edition and £12 off the Champions edition. However, this discount will most likely not be applied by most purchasing the game, who will either not notice it is available or forget about it entirely, with the majority still paying full price. Now some of you will defend EA, yes there are some of you out there, and will no doubt say, well they could have put the price up even more, or you don't have to pay those prices, you could purchase the EA Play subscription. Okay, let's look at the maths. Standard EA Play is $5.99 per month, and EA Play Plus is $16.99 per month. F1 games are normally released every 12 months, and this period between F1 23 and 24 is only 10 months, but it is not the norm. So if we base on that someone who wants to play the game each month and has access to it through EA Play, that equates to $5.99 times 12 is $71.88, and $16.99 times 12 is $203.88. So a 12 monthly subscription is more than the one-off purchase of either edition of the game. Now yes, there are annual purchase options for EA Play, which are most definitely better value for money, as a subscription does gain you access to their library of games and can be cancelled at any time, so it is most definite better value for money. However, you and I know that there will be a relatively large percentage of people out there that one, only play the F1 game and won't be interested in any other game in the EA Play library, and two, there will always be those who will forget to cancel their subscription, whether it be monthly or annually, and EA will gain a large amount of revenue from those who just forget to cancel. FYI, it is noted that you can get this money back if you request it, but once again I bet most won't or don't and will just accept the loss. And then the most egregious practice that EA has been implementing for a few years now with its premium versions. They charge you extra on the game by ensuring you will gain early access to it 3 days early. 3 days? You can blink and 3 days have gone by, especially if you work full time or have kids and any other commitments. What's worse is this early access period has reduced over the years since its introduction, as in previous years, like Battlefield 2042, it was a 7-day early access with premium versions of the game. But this early access perk comes with a whole heap of issues. EA games have a history, as we know, of being buggy messes upon release. With early access, most customers are basically paying an extra fee, £20 or more, to be final beta testers. This is pretty much confirmed, as there is always an obligatory update on day one of the official release date to address most of the issues early access users have experienced. Now this, in my opinion, is the main reason why you should not purchase the Champions Edition. It is just not worth the extra money for this alone, especially as F1 games don't have good form of releasing in suitable condition anyway. Save your money and wait for at least a standard version or for the developers to iron out the bugs. And lastly, one of the recent trends that has been occurring in games of late is content being locked behind premium versions. And I'm not just talking about liveries or coins, currency. Games such as Hogwarts Legacy and the recently announced Star Wars Outlaws have quests, missions locked behind exclusivity deals. This is a terrible practice that is just a mechanism to entice those to pay more money for the premium versions. F1 24, while it doesn't have quests because it is a sports game, a racing game, they do have, however, locked some special events behind the Champions Edition that are only available in early access for now. But who knows what else in the future may also be locked behind the premium version outside of just liveries and the currency. Now, it is not lost on me that I predominantly play iRacing, which is a platform that is consistently criticised for how much it costs. I do agree that some of these criticisms are valid, however the glaring difference with iRacing is that it is a live service that is consistently kept up to date, has staff that are transparent and have an active relationship with its community. And it also has multiple content drops throughout the year. In my opinion, this alone justifies the monthly subscription fee of iRacing. F1 24, however, is aimed at being more accessible by being on multiple platforms and is not as hardcore as iRacing with its mechanics. Although this is changing, but with the current pricing structure, it is becoming less accessible and players are waiting longer to purchase this game for all the previously mentioned, but primarily it's because they don't feel the game is worth the value they have to pay for it anymore. From EA's perspective, I get it. Costs have gone up, and I guess we have to be lucky that this game hasn't increased in price over the past year. But EA are not short of a few bob. They own some of the biggest IPs for gaming in the world, and they need to be careful with how they manage their annually released games, as people are starting to get fed up with the lack of content and development in these annually released sports games that could just be sufficiently released as an update, instead of paying £60 to £80 again. But I guess, as most corporate businesses say now, have an obligation to their shareholders. Now, seeing value in something is totally subjective, and some people may see £60 as great value for this game, because it might be the only game that you play all year. However, plenty of others who are veterans of the game have clearly stated that functionality and content has been removed over previous versions of the game, and they do not see this current pricing structure as value for money whatsoever. The simple answer is reduce your costs until you provide a game that is worth £60 to £80, because in my personal opinion at this moment in time, it definitely is not good value. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you going to be purchasing F1 24? Are you going to be waiting for it to come on to sale? Or are you just not going to buy it at all?